In the criminal justice system, the people,
Pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care.
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
Well, I mentioned it. Trump's ex-finance chief, 5 months in Rikers for perjury. I don't know what you've heard about the remodeling at Rikers, Kim, but it's still not a great place to spend 5 months. And even though I know you're saying, yeah, Mark, but the summer months are lovely at Rikers. No, they're really not. It's not like the brochures.
No.
Alan Weiselberg admitting that he lied about helping Trump inflate his net worth to win favorable loan terms. You kind of know the dance they did and the lying dance that Weiselberg did. And you talk about a guy who has, really taken the heat for Trump. Weiselberg's now going to head up the river.
What is he?
Rikers.
Is it 5 months that he's serving?
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah?
Yeah, 5 months, exactly.
I mean,
He's
that's
76.
a long time for an older guy, right?
Yeah, it's a long time for any of us.
Who knows
Rikers,
what's going to happen to you in that place?
no fun. Meantime, a bizarre story about a woman who was trying to sell President Joe Biden's daughter's diary. And this Florida mother sentenced this week to a month in prison and 3 months of home confinement for stealing and selling President Joe Biden's daughter's diary.
Does that not seem like enough to you? I mean, she's stealing someone's innermost thoughts and secrets and trying to profit off of it, and she gets a month in jail and 3 years probation? It's ridiculous.
Well, it does seem light to me, but Amy Harris is her name, and she was sentenced in Manhattan federal court, and the judge did call her actions despicable. She pleaded guilty. She got $20,000 of the $40,000 that was paid by Project Veritas. You know Project Veritas, they're usually involved in hidden camera stings and trying to embarrass journalists and government officials, labor organizations, Democratic politicians. They're right wing, but they busted a lot of people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. Found a lot of stuff that isn't cool based on surreptitious recordings. Anyway, they bought the diary. They wanted it. They were looking for that stuff. So they were paying $40K. She got $20K of it. She apologized in court. As I say, she was in tears. The writings of Ashley Biden were to be sold. And she found the diary and other items at a friend's Delray Beach, Florida home in 2020, where prosecutors said that Ashley Biden thought that her items were safely stored when she temporarily stayed there in 2020. And as we've seen, they were not safely stored.
No, and you would think, though, and not to blame Ashley Biden because, she's the victim in this case, but if you're a Biden, just like if you're a Trump, right, and you know that there's people doing Oppo research or people that would love to get their hands on whatever it is you're writing, you got to hold on to that stuff. You can't trust a friend to say, I'll store it for you. No, that's too good for somebody to get their hands on.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, if I gave you something to hold on to for me, can I not trust you?
You could trust me.
Well, I mean, that's exactly the situation.
You probably shouldn't trust anyone.
Well, I mean, you have to put your stuff somewhere, and it's going to be in the custody of someone. So I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not blaming her. I'm not blaming Ashley Biden. Mm-hmm. The 2023 shooting at a Virginia elementary school in which a 6-year-old student shot the teacher. Remember this one? We talked about it, of course, at the time. Yeah. It was an unavoidable situation, according to a special grand jury. This is a newly released report. They cited poor decision makings in the lead up to the shooting. This is an 11-member panel investigating this January 6th, 2023 shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News. They found a shocking, this is a quote, lack of response by the former assistant principal despite several warnings about the child. I thought it was remarkable that they turned a blind eye to all the warnings they had about this kid, you'll remember. The report highlights a series of security failures and many, quote, behavioral problems involving the child before the shooting that wounded first-grade teacher Abigail Zwerner. The school's former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, resigned about 3 weeks after the shooting. She was charged with 8 counts of child abuse and disregard for life by a special grand jury. That just happened last month. Each of those 8 felony counts carries a maximum potential sentence of 5 years in prison. So if convicted, Parker could face up to 40 years in prison. Again, she was the former assistant principal who was facing that. So it's not as though turning a blind eye to that hasn't some potential consequences. It does. And finally, this crew around the Bay Area, a burglary crew that went around sledgehammering Bay Area stores. They stole nearly $1 million in cigarettes. People are now being blamed, and the cops are calling them, this gang, the F Everyone gang. Are you familiar with them, Kim?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have a gang name, that's pretty strong, right?
It's a very strong brand. You're right. They've been linked to at least 34 burglaries, an estimated loss of almost $1 million, $970,000, within a 2-month span. They successfully evaded pursuing officers time and time again. They made off with $200,000 from a Chanel store in Southern California, and even allegedly recorded a rap music video featuring a stolen Jeep that had been at half a dozen of those burglaries, according to the authorities.
What?
Yeah.
They're like, we don't care. We're just going to showcase all our stolen stuff.
It's not a good look for law enforcement. Yeah. Police identified 3 suspects who they claim are part of this Oakland-based gang.
The F Everythings.
F Everyone. The gang is a subset, they say, of a larger group known as ENT. They've been linked to a bunch of shootings around the East Bay, including a lengthy rivalry with the Oakland-based Case Gang. So you've got the Case Gang, you've got ENT, and you've got F Everyone. But it was F Everyone that made it away with $1 million in jacked stuff.
Oh.
Burglaries in Benicia, Union City, Vacaville, Concord, Brentwood, San Leandro, Vallejo, Livermore. Should I go on? I can. Tracy, Walnut Creek, Dublin, Oakland, and as far south as San Diego. These guys were all over all this stuff. And there's only one suspect in custody, a 26-year-old guy named Robert Lee Johnson of Tracy and Oakland. And he is the key to this F Everyone gang, but he's the only guy in custody. That's Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.